When life gets tough, it's easy to feel like the weight of the world is pressing down, making every step harder than the last. But in those moments, when everything feels uncertain and heavy, that's when your mindset becomes your greatest strength. Staying positive doesn't mean pretending everything is perfect. It means choosing to focus on what you can control, even if it's just your breath, your next decision, or your attitude toward the storm around you. Positivity is often misunderstood. People sometimes see it as forced smiles, blind optimism, or pretending everything is fine when it clearly isn't. But real positivity isn't about denial. It's a conscious decision to see things differently, to face the truth of your circumstances and still choose to respond in a way that serves your mental, emotional, and even physical well-being. It's not about ignoring pain, fear, or hardship. It's about refusing to let them define your entire reality. When life throws unexpected challenges, it's natural to feel overwhelmed. Emotions like anger, sadness, frustration, and anxiety come up uninvited. Positivity doesn't cancel out those feelings. It allows you to experience them without getting trapped by them. It means giving yourself permission to feel, but also giving yourself the power to rise above. It's saying, yes, this is hard, but also asking, what can I do now that helps me move forward? That shift in perspective is subtle, but it changes everything. Making a choice to stay positive is a form of courage. It means refusing to surrender your mindset to the chaos around you. It's easy to fall into negativity when things go wrong, to complain, to give up, or to believe nothing will ever improve. But that kind of thinking can become a trap. The more you feed it, the heavier it gets. Positivity, in contrast, is light. It's the choice to hold on to hope even when there's no visible reason to. It's what helps you take the next step, make the next call, or show up again when you'd rather stay in bed. Choosing positivity doesn't mean your problems go away overnight. It means you start approaching them from a place of power instead of helplessness. It allows you to think more clearly, act more decisively, and keep going when the road is uncertain. It's not magical thinking. It's mental discipline. It's about training your mind to focus on what's possible rather than what's broken. That doesn't mean you ignore your reality. It means you face it with resilience, determination, and grace. There's also a quiet strength in people who stay positive when everything around them is falling apart. They aren't naive. They're focused. They're the ones who offer calm in a crisis, encouragement during setbacks, and solutions when everyone else sees only problems. That strength isn't innate. It's cultivated through daily decisions. It's built in moments when you say, I will not let this defeat me, even if you don't yet know how you'll overcome it. Another important part of choosing positivity is recognizing that your perspective affects more than just you. The energy you bring into a room, into a conversation, or into a relationship has an impact. When you choose a mindset that's hopeful and steady, even in the storm, you influence others to believe they can handle their own challenges too. That ripple effect is powerful. Positivity doesn't just lift you, it lifts the people around you. Staying positive when things are hard is less about personality and more about commitment. It's a habit that gets stronger the more you practice it. It's a belief that even in difficulty, there's a lesson, a breakthrough, or at the very least, another chance to try again. Life may not always give you what you expect, but it will always give you an opportunity to respond. And when you respond with grounded, honest positivity, you begin to shape your life in a way that's not only bearable, but meaningful. Hard times are something every person experiences, no matter their background, status, or achievements. It's one of the few things that truly unite all people. At some point, everyone faces moments of pain, disappointment, loss, or uncertainty. These moments can come without warning. A phone call, a broken relationship, a missed opportunity, a health scare, or a quiet feeling of emptiness that slowly grows. What's important to understand is that experiencing hardship doesn't mean you're doing something wrong. It simply means you're human. Sometimes it may seem like others have it easier. From the outside, people often appear to have perfect lives, smiling faces on social media, successful careers, happy families. But behind closed doors, everyone carries something. Silent battles, private regrets, personal struggles that don't show up in photos or conversations. Comparing your struggles to someone else's highlight reel only deepens your pain and isolates you further. What you're going through might be different in form, but it's not different in nature. Struggle is a thread woven into the human experience. Understanding that hard times are universal helps remove the shame or guilt that can come with them. Many people feel like they should be stronger, more successful, or more in control. But life doesn't operate on a straight line. It rises and falls, ebbs and flows. Even the most accomplished people, those who seem to have it all, have faced serious adversity. Whether it's personal loss, financial hardship, betrayal, burnout, or depression, no one escapes difficulty entirely, and it's often through those hard seasons that people grow the most. Difficult moments test you in ways comfort never can. They reveal your values, your resilience, and your capacity to adapt. They force you to ask hard questions. Who am I without my routine, my titles, or the things I thought defined me? What do I truly want? What matters most? These questions don't arise when everything is easy. They show up when you're brought to your knees, when the noise of the world fades and you're left alone with yourself. And while painful, those questions can be the beginning of real transformation. Knowing that others have faced and survived hard times can also be a source of comfort. You're not the only one who has struggled to get out of bed, questioned your worth, or wondered if things will ever get better. History is full of stories of people who endured unimaginable hardship and came out the other side stronger, wiser, and more compassionate. These stories aren't just inspiration, they're proof that it's possible to move forward even when the path seems blocked. Community plays a powerful role in navigating tough times. When you realize that hardship is universal, you start to see the value of empathy and connection. You can be honest about your own struggles without fear of judgment, and you can offer support to others from a place of true understanding. Pain doesn't have to isolate you. It can connect you more deeply to others if you let it. What matters most is how you respond to the hard times. You can let them harden you, or you can let them teach you. You can become bitter, or you can grow. It's not about denying the pain, it's about finding a way through it with integrity, patience, and hope. Life will challenge you, often more than once. But each time, you gain something you didn't have before. New perspective, deeper empathy, greater strength. And with each challenge, you build a foundation that helps you weather the next storm with a little more grace. Everyone faces hardship, but no one has to face it alone or without purpose. Progress often feels like it should be big and dramatic. Huge leaps, overnight success, and visible milestones that signal growth. But in reality, meaningful progress is almost always built through small, consistent steps. These steps may seem insignificant in the moment, but over time they form the foundation of transformation. It's in the daily effort, the quiet persistence, and the choice to keep moving that true change happens. There's a kind of pressure in our culture to do everything quickly. If we don't see results immediately, we assume we're failing. This mindset makes people give up too soon. They believe that if the change isn't instant or obvious, then it's not working. But the truth is, most progress is slow. It's steady. It happens behind the scenes, often unnoticed, until one day it becomes visible. Like a plant growing underground before it ever breaks the surface, your efforts take time to show. Small steps matter because they're sustainable. Big bursts of effort might bring temporary progress, but they're often followed by burnout or discouragement. Small actions, on the other hand, are manageable. They can be repeated. They build momentum. Whether you're learning a new skill, trying to heal emotionally, changing a habit, or pursuing a long-term goal, it's the small, daily decisions that shape your direction. Even when progress feels invisible, it's still happening. Waking up and trying again after a setback is progress. Choosing to speak kindly to yourself after years of self-criticism is progress. Reaching out for help, showing up on a hard day, or saying no when it's easier to say yes. These are small victories that pave the way for something bigger. The accumulation of these moments leads to lasting change, even if the results aren't immediate. Another important truth about small steps is that they help build confidence. When you complete even one tiny task, your brain registers success. That sense of accomplishment, no matter how minor, reinforces your belief that you are capable. Over time, these small wins add up. They remind you that you can do hard things, that you can be consistent, and that you are making progress, even if the destination still feels far away. There's also wisdom in breaking down big goals into smaller, manageable pieces. Looking at the entire journey at once can be overwhelming. It's easy to feel paralyzed when you only focus on how far you have to go. But when you shift your focus to just the next step, the next workout, the next chapter, the next conversation, it becomes easier to move forward. One small step may not look like much, but it's the only way any big goal is ever achieved. Progress through small steps teaches patience. It forces you to slow down and become present in the process. You start to realize that growth isn't just about where you're going, but also about who you're becoming as you get there. Each step builds not only your results, but your character, your discipline, your mindset, and your ability to keep going when things are tough. In the end, real progress rarely comes from giant leaps. It comes from choosing to keep going, even when it's hard, even when no one's watching, and even when it feels like nothing is changing. Every small step is a vote for the person you want to become. And when those steps are taken consistently, they lead to a place that once felt impossible. You don't have to have it all figured out or do it all at once. You just have to take the next small step, and then another. That's how progress is built. True strength doesn't always look the way people expect. It's not loud, aggressive, or always visible from the outside. More often, it's quiet, steady, and deeply rooted. It's the kind of strength that doesn't need recognition or applause because it comes from within. This kind of strength shows up when no one's watching, when there's no immediate reward, and when everything inside you says to stop, but you keep going anyway. It's persistence in the face of doubt and resilience when life keeps pushing you down. Many people confuse strength with dominance or control. They think it's about being the toughest, the most successful, or the most outspoken. But that kind of strength can be fragile. It depends on circumstances, approval, or appearances. True strength isn't about overpowering others or being unaffected by challenges. It's about continuing to move forward despite vulnerability, fear, and exhaustion. It's the inner resolve to stand back up after being knocked down again and again. There is power in being steady. The person who gets up every day and faces their responsibilities even when they're overwhelmed is strong. The one who keeps showing up for others while silently managing their own pain has strength that often goes unrecognized. True strength is persistent. It doesn't quit when progress is slow or the outcome is uncertain. It understands that the journey is just as important as the result, and that consistency matters more than intensity. Strength also lives in restraint. It's easy to react impulsively, to lash out, or to give in to anger and frustration. It takes much more strength to pause, to think, and to respond with intention and kindness. Choosing calm over chaos, patience over pressure, and understanding over judgment is a quiet but profound act of strength. It's not flashy, but it has impact. It protects relationships, builds trust, and fosters growth. not just in others, but in yourself. Persistence is one of the purest forms of strength. It means staying the course when the road is long and the finish line isn't in sight. It means doing the hard thing not just once, but repeatedly. It's waking up each day and deciding to try again, to learn, to heal, to grow. Persistence doesn't mean you never fall. It means you refuse to stay down. It's not about always knowing what to do. It's about refusing to give up while you figure it out. Sometimes, true strength is simply holding on. Holding on when everything around you is falling apart. Holding on when you don't have the answers. Holding on when you feel alone. That grip, however fragile it feels, is a form of power. It means you haven't given up, even when giving up feels easier. And in those moments, that quiet strength becomes the force that carries you forward. True strength also allows room for softness. It's not afraid to cry, to admit fear, or to ask for help. It understands that vulnerability is not weakness. It's honesty. Being open, real, and human takes far more courage than pretending to have it all together. And that quiet courage builds deeper connections, greater self-awareness, and a more meaningful kind of resilience. At the heart of it all, strength that lasts is not about bursts of bravery or dramatic moments. It's about the slow, quiet decision to keep going, to keep believing, and to keep growing, even when it hurts. That kind of strength doesn't always look impressive on the outside, but it changes lives. It builds character, and it becomes the solid ground you stand on when everything else feels uncertain. That is true strength, resilience, the ability to recover from setbacks, adapt to change, and keep going in the face of adversity. It is not just about being tough. At its core, resilience is deeply connected to purpose. When you have a clear sense of why you're doing something, you can endure much more than you thought possible. Purpose gives meaning to the struggle, direction to the chaos, and motivation when everything feels heavy. It becomes the inner compass that guides you through hard times, reminding you that there is something on the other side worth fighting for. Purpose doesn't have to be something grand or world-changing. It can be as simple as wanting to be there for your family, making a difference in someone's life, growing into the best version of yourself, or working toward a long-term dream. What matters is that it's real to you. It gives your actions significance. When life gets hard and everything seems to be falling apart, that sense of purpose can be the one thing that holds you together. It becomes the reason you get back up when you've been knocked down, the reason you keep showing up even when your energy is gone. Resilience without purpose is like running in the dark with no direction. You might be moving, but you don't know why or where you're headed. Eventually, that kind of movement becomes exhausting. But when you have a purpose, even small steps forward feel meaningful. You're not just surviving. You're building towards something. That forward motion, no matter how slow, keeps hope alive. It transforms hardship into part of a bigger picture, rather than just an endless series of difficulties. Purpose also provides clarity. In difficult moments, it's easy to feel overwhelmed or lost, but when you know your why, it becomes easier to make choices, set boundaries, and stay focused. It cuts through the noise of fear, doubt, and distraction. You start to filter your actions through that purpose, asking yourself whether this next move brings you closer to what matters. That clarity strengthens your resolve. It helps you stay grounded when everything around you is uncertain. Another way purpose fuels resilience is by giving pain a place. Struggles become less about suffering and more about learning, growing, and becoming. You begin to see even your hardest moments as part of the journey, moments that shape your character, deepen your understanding, and prepare you for what's next. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" you begin to ask, "What is this trying to teach me?" That shift in mindset is powerful. It turns pain into fuel. Purpose also connects you to others. Often, the most enduring purposes are rooted in relationships. being a source of strength for someone else, leading a team, serving a cause, or being a positive influence. When your reason for pushing forward extends beyond yourself, it gives you strength you didn't know you had. Knowing that someone else is counting on you, inspired by you, or benefiting from your effort can give you the extra resilience you need to keep going. When everything feels like too much, purpose whispers, there's a reason to keep going. It doesn't make the pain disappear, but it gives the pain context. It helps you make sense of the struggle and find value in the journey. Resilience isn't about being unbreakable. It's about being able to bend, to recover, and to move forward no matter how difficult the path. And the most resilient people aren't the ones who never fall. They're the ones who fall 100 times and still get up, because they have a reason to. That reason is their purpose, and it's what keeps the fire burning even when the night is long. Tough times often feel endless when you're in the middle of them. Pain has a way of stretching time, making every hour feel like a day, and every day feel like a year. Whether it's emotional turmoil, financial hardship, physical illness, or loss, the struggle can be so consuming that it's hard to imagine a future beyond it. But no matter how deep the struggle goes, tough times are temporary. They may not leave quickly, and they may not leave quietly, but they do pass. The storm doesn't last forever, even if it feels like it will. Life moves in seasons. Just as nature shifts from winter to spring, so too do the seasons of your life. Hardship is a part of that natural rhythm. It's not a sign that something is wrong with you or that you're failing. It's simply part of the human experience. Winter may be cold and harsh, but it gives way to growth. Trees that look dead in winter bloom again in spring. And just like them, you too have seasons of stillness, of survival, and of renewal. When you accept that tough times are temporary, you allow hope to take root. Even in the coldest days, pain often demands our full attention. It screams louder than joy, takes up more space than peace, and blocks out the future with its shadow. But even then, change is still happening. Healing is taking place, even if it's slow. Strength is being built, even if you can't feel it yet. Just because progress is invisible doesn't mean it's not real. Many of the most profound transformations happen in silence, in moments when you feel like nothing is changing. Over time, that slow shift becomes undeniable. When you look back on past hardships, you begin to see the truth of this. Things you once thought you wouldn't survive, you did. Moments that felt permanent eventually passed. That doesn't mean they didn't leave a mark. But the fact that you're still here is proof that pain isn't forever. You endured, you adapted, you grew, and the memory of that survival becomes a source of strength in future struggles. Every tough time you overcome reinforces the truth. You are more resilient than you realize, and no storm lasts forever. It's important to remind yourself during difficult moments that emotions are not facts. Feeling hopeless doesn't mean there is no hope. Feeling lost doesn't mean there's no path forward. These feelings are real and valid, but they are also temporary, just like the circumstances causing them. The mind often tells stories based on how things feel in the moment, not how they truly are. Keeping perspective during hardship can be difficult, but even the smallest reminder that this pain is not permanent can make a huge difference. Time doesn't erase all wounds, but it does soften them. It creates space between you and the pain. With enough time, clarity returns, and what once consumed your entire view becomes a chapter instead of the whole story. Sometimes, tough times even become the soil for something new. Wisdom, compassion, purpose. That's not to romanticize suffering, but to acknowledge that difficulty often plants seeds that only bloom long after the pain is gone. Holding on through hard times isn't about pretending everything is okay. It's about trusting that things won't always be this way. It's choosing to believe in a future you can't yet see. Whether that means taking one deep breath, getting through one more hour, or reaching out for support. Each small act of endurance is a step toward the other side. and you will get to that other side. No matter how strong the storm or how long the night, the light always returns. Tough times are not permanent. They are chapters, not the whole book. No matter how overwhelming life may feel, every hardship you face is part of a journey, not the end of it. Pain, setbacks, and struggles are all temporary, but the strength you build while moving through them lasts. By choosing positivity over despair, taking small steps forward, and holding on to your purpose, you create momentum that carries you beyond the toughest moments. True strength lies in quiet persistence, and real progress is built in silence. One choice, one day at a time. Remember, tough times don't define you. How you respond to them does, and in that response, you become stronger, wiser, and more prepared for whatever comes next. Keep going. Your next chapter is already waiting.